I'm back. I'm back. It's been a long time since I did this last podcast. I'm Rach the Wretched One, and welcome to 2020. I was looking and I realised that the last podcast I did was on the 23rd of September 2019. How things have changed. I think at the time I thought, yep, I'll do another one, Christmas, and then, that will take me into the new year. And then, I'll just carry on 2020 producing podcasts every Monday. Little did I know that things were going to change. So time has passed and I was looking back, like I said, and I wanted to see the kind of things I spoke about way back last year and see whether or not I'd actually done anything about it. So some things I had, some things I haven't. So I remember saying that I wanted to learn the splits by the end of the year. I am still trying. I think it must be age. I'm just not that flexible. I literally stretch every day and I've been doing so since that last podcast. And okay, I am getting closer, but the progress isn't the kind of speed that you see, when you go on YouTube and it's like, learn the splits in 30 days. Or, look, I've done the splits, and then someone does a comment and says, oh God, how long did that take you? And they're like, I did it like once a week for a few months, and then bang, one day I just had like full splits. No, not happening. So I've resorted to trying to do other kinds of exercises to try and get me there. I think I spend 3 days of the week in some sort of pain from some sort of stretched injury. I think that's just age, because I think I put this on my Instagram. I was saying that, the older you get, the more you have to try and be really careful in your movements. And what I mean is, if I'm like exercising, which I do on the daily, and I jump in the air and I land a bit awkward, or I'm at home and then I'm reaching for something, but then I think I see a spider and I do a jump and my body twists in an awkward way, I know for a fact that's going to hurt now for the next 3 days. When did that happen? When did that happen? Before, you do all kinds of things, twisting and turning, and you didn't have to think anything about it. But now, I have to make careful movements. So the older I'm getting, the more careful I've got to be. So don't walk up on me or make me jump or anything like that, because I might crick something or mess myself up for a fortnight. Another thing I said I was going to do, and that was write a book. And I'm glad to say I've done that. I literally disciplined myself to write a certain amount of words every day. And what I was doing is taking a little mini laptop that I had, and I was like getting on the train and writing on the way to work and then writing on the way back. And I'm so proud of myself because I really stuck to it. And was it February? I think I finished actually writing the book, and it's like a little crime novel, very much in the style of like the kind of TV that I've grown up on, which is like, I don't know, Frost or Inspector Morse or any one of those kind of British crime dramas with a little bit of comedy put into it. Not black humour, but just like the way sometimes the characters like interact with each other. I think that's like a British thing. We do like pepper our serious conversations with just a bit of humour or a bit of sarcasm. So it's a true reflection of what I've grown up reading. So really good. Hopefully somebody will pick it up and want to publish it. I've took it round to my mum. My mum is like the be all and end all when it comes to crime fiction. She likes, reading crime books, but also likes watching real life crime on the TV, and then also likes watching, crime series like I do. I think that's where I got it from. So she read it, said it was a nice, easy read. That's always a good sign, because, I don't really want to have a book where you've got to go through 30 pages before you know what's happening. It's nice and quick and simple. I've sent it out to a few publishers, or publishing agents, I should say. So I'm really new to this whole process. So maybe what I'll do, if I don't get any traction from those guys, maybe I'll just do it myself, because I've seen a lot of things about self-publishing. I've been reading stuff like that, and some of like the most famous books we know were like self-published first and then got picked up. And for me, it's not like a vanity project where I can walk around and say, look, I've got a book, look at my book. I didn't do it for that. It was just that it's something that's in my head and I really wanted to write about it. And it's been knocking around for some time. So yeah, maybe why not just like self-publish? Obviously I'll have to get someone to proofread it properly. And then, yeah, stick it on, what do? You stick it on Amazon or ebooks or something. I don't know. I've got to learn how to do it. Baby steps. I've done the first bit, which is actually written something of substance. I just now need to do the next stage in getting other people to read it as well. I know I'm not going to be a millionaire after it or anything like that, but it is nice to have created something to put out there. Just a bit like this kind of podcast that I do. That's why I did it in the first place. It was just to talk about stuff, talk about the things that swell in my head, and then stick them on a recording, and then hope that somebody listens. That's it, really. Not here to be famous, here to just get all the creative stuff that's flowing around in my head out onto some sort of platform so people can listen if they want to. So yeah, look out for maybe sometime in the next few months some sort of book going out. Also, I'm sure you've seen, I'm now on YouTube as opposed to podcast platforms. It was getting quite expensive to stick things on a podcast. All these kind of like podcast platforms give you a certain amount of hours that you can produce content for, and then you've got to start paying. And then if you're not a big podcaster like me, like I haven't even got, I don't think even 10 to 15 followers, it's a lot of expense for nobody listening. Whereas YouTube, which is where I am now, is free. You can just upload it and then hope for the best. So that's what I'm doing. I had to teach myself a new kind of video program. So I've done it on Premiere Pro, which was quite simple once I got the hang of it. So yeah, that's why you're seeing, nice looped pictures of serene images, because I wanted to keep it in to that theme of, relaxation, something to listen to. I'm all about good mental health and balance. So hopefully this image evokes that while you're listening to me ramble on. And, each of the videos will have some sort of image like that, nothing too jarring. And I know that a lot of people aren't necessarily going to sit and be transfixed to the screen. It's going to be something that you listen to while you're, cleaning or chilling in bed or whatever. But on YouTube, you can't really just have one image. I've seen, lots of podcasts where it's just one image. And, it's nice to have something there, even if it's in the background, something you can put on the telly. So yeah, we're now on YouTube. Hopefully it's a lot more accessible. You don't have to sign up and log into loads of things. And I'm hoping it's easier to share as well, because I was finding that a lot of members of my family or friends probably found it more difficult to share it or access it on these kind of podcast platforms. But everybody I notice is sharing YouTube clips or YouTube videos. So why not just operate in the areas that are most comfortable for everybody else? And so here I am on YouTube. So yeah, here's to many, many more podcasts of Rach the Wretched One. And hopefully I'll see some sort of growth. And also it's a place for you to do some feedback as well. So if people want to add in suggestions about what they'd like me to talk about or things that they've thought about and see whether or not they resonate with me as well, that'd be quite good as well. So yeah, so what's that thing that they say? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, whatever. But yeah, we're here. So I know when I started out doing these podcasts, I didn't want them to be pertaining to any particular event or date. I wanted them to almost be timeless, a bit like when you listen to radio programs. I've grown up listening to Radio 4, and I listen to Radio 4 Extra as well. And sometimes they'll just put on programs that were recorded in like the 1970s, but there's no real kind of event around it. It might just be, a person talking about gardening or house hunting or a particular event in long-term history, but around it is pretty timeless. And that was what I wanted to do with these podcasts. I didn't want to kind of attach them to anything major, because then people could listen, throughout time and not feel like it's so dated. But obviously the elephant in the room is that we're all in quarantine at the moment. So some of us have not, got on trains or entered other people's houses or done anything that they normally have done for many months now. One of the main things that I know that's happened to me being in quarantine is that I've blooming packed on the weight. And I say packed on the weight, what do they call it? The quarantine 15. I'm more like the quarantine 28, because all I know is that once I stopped commuting and running for tubes and trains and, walking to places to park my car and stuff, there was nothing else to do but stay in, day drink, a bit like a holiday really, day drinking, snacking, and then minimal exercise. Now, I still do exercise. I'm a bit like, I think it's a bit Shawshank Redemption at the moment. Like, I get up in the morning, I do exercise in the, in the living room. So that's like my little cell. And then I try and do like a little bit in the garden when the sun's shining to get some vitamin D. So that's my time in the courtyard. And then I'll then eat all the snacks in the house. And then as well, there's no time anymore, is there? So for those of us who maybe are working or working from home or furloughed or whatever, there's no real strong time. So you could find yourself like sitting in your living room at 8:30 at night, and then blink and it's 3 a.m, and then it becomes a habit. So my day at the moment is like that. My day starts at maybe 9:30, 10 when I wake up, and then 3 a.m. when I go to bed. Doing nothing, by the way. There's nothing pressing at 3 a.m. that I'm doing, apart from watching, live YouTube streams that people have that I could watch the next day, really, because most live YouTube streams are recorded for later on. Or I'm like watching anime till the wee hours. So as I've said before in my previous podcast, I do like anime. So I'm watching Bleach still, like 333 episodes, and I'm on like 220. So yeah, I've got a lot to get through. Thank God it's finished, because then I don't feel like I'm having to catch up. And then watching like One Piece, and then there are about 4 or 5 animes that I want to get into, but I want to finish Bleach first. So I'm doing stuff like that. Not productive at all. But then on the flip side, during the hours of like 10 till 6, I'm very productive. So I'm like, talking to friends or catching up with lots of my friends, or doing work or my business, or doing lots of different things like that. Advising people, getting involved in committees, all of that kind of stuff. Stuff that I actually didn't do as much of before we had lockdown. But yeah, my day is shunted. So I'm falling into bed at like 3 and then getting up at 10. My husband and my son have normal hours. So they go to bed at, decent amounts of time, decent hours, and then get up early. It's mad. God knows what I'm going to be like when lockdown ends. I'll have to try and kick this, because I can't sustain this kind of lifestyle forever. These habits are not working. And plus, I'm eating at late hours as well. So eating at 2 a.m. is not really conducive to helping me lose weight, is it? So eating at that time of the night and then going straight to bed, and then getting up the next day going, I feel really bloated. Yeah, I wonder why. It's because you're stuffing your face with like a load of crisps and, orange juice at like 2:30, when really you should be in your bed. Now, this time last year, I was all talking about the holiday I went on. I think I went on 2 holidays last year. So there's been no holidays as well. So I'm literally taking this as my time abroad. I tell you what though, I do miss the experience. Yes, I am still terrified of flying, and I did manage to overcome that. How frustrating. My last flight, I managed to overcome my fear of flying, and then now I haven't flown anywhere, so I'm back to square one. But what I do miss is that whole build up again to the holiday, choosing where you're going to go. That is the best bit, when you're online and you pick your best places, then you book it, then the countdown for the excitement happens. You get yourself into shape. We've all talked about that, you know, getting into shape to go on holiday to put the weight back on. But, you know, you get yourself into shape, you choose your clothes, and then you get there. Or before that, actually, you know, you got that airport experience where you go and buy stuff in duty free, or you have a nose around, and then you eat some stuff that you know you may not do when you normally go out to eat. You might eat somewhere different, or you may go to the lounge, but it's all part of the experience. And I think what has happened now, that experience has gone. A lot of experiences have gone. So, you know, we do a lot of the things we do for what I call memory makers, that memory making. All of these things evoke feelings which are there then to create these long-lasting memories. So, like I've just said, you know, going to the airport, going on holiday, but also things like going shopping, you know, going shopping in cities, if you're going into London to do a shop, meeting friends for dinner, going to concerts, going to the cinema, all the things that we took for granted, all those experiences have just gone, literally, overnight, just like that, just gone. And it's very strange because you took for granted all of those kind of interactions. All of those things do help with endorphins, in building up excitement, in giving you something to look forward to. If you're going around and around and around in a circle every day, get up, eat, work from your desk, do a bit of exercise, have a drink, go to bed, over and over again, you're missing out on all of those really lovely experiences that we had. Even negative ones, like, you know, getting on the train and arguing with somebody, or having a bad shopping experience where you have to go to customer service. All of that kind of stuff's gone. And now it's literally don your mask, you know, hardly talk to anybody, buy your groceries, like buy your supplies, and then get back home. One of the things that is good is that I'm seeing a almost reverting back to type from people. So when we first started going to the shops, it was like, don't speak to anybody, you know, give everybody a wide berth, afraid to even do anything out of the ordinary because it was all so new. Now people are relaxing a bit. So the shopping experience in supermarkets is getting better. And I actually go to the supermarket. As you know, I love my Aldi and I love supermarket shopping, but I like going to the supermarket just to have that human interaction, just to have something different. Just walking up and down those aisles and seeing other human beings. There's something about that. Or having a quick conversation with the lady when you scan something and you buy, I don't know, a bottle of wine and she has to check your age. It's nice to just have that human interaction. And I never thought I'd say that. And it's the same with me going out with my son, and we cycle. So when you're going out cycling, at least you've got that adequate amount of distance between people, but everybody nods and says hello. I think we're all craving that human connection, which has been so almost cruelly taken away from us, and we still don't know when it's going to come back. So yeah, I think little things like going to the shops, going out for a little bike ride or a little walk are immensely helpful in this time. And on those lines of human interaction, what's been really interesting is the way that we've started to communicate with each other. We're using online a lot now where we've got no choice. So do you remember at the beginning of lockdown, Zoom and house party was the thing. House party. Everybody wanted me to go on house party. Come on house party. We've got games. Come on house party. We're having a discussion. Come on house party. We're just catching up. I know that's gone now, but people have still, got together to connect. I've managed to speak to so many friends. Some friends I haven't spoken to for years. Got together with them on like WhatsApp groups, or had like Zoom chats, or just had long phone calls, like 2-3 hour phone calls with friends who I haven't seen for ages, and almost took for granted because it was almost like, I'll get to speak to them tomorrow, or I'll probably bump into them when I'm at the shops. But now we've got that time. So on the good side of it, it's helped to create and rebond relationships that maybe have fallen by the wayside over time, and have those really good old school conversations on the phone. I remember when I was young, my mum used to sit and have those long phone conversations. You know, the ones where you're standing next to her and you're waiting for her to finish because you want to pluck up the courage to ask her for 3 digestive biscuits, even though you just had your dinner. But that kind of conversation where you just sit and you chat with friends. So I recently linked back up with one of my uni friends who is always in my mind, but I never get the chance to speak to her. The same as like another friend of mine who's always abroad and going different places. I've had like long conversations with her. So it's been great. And I have gone out as well. So there's been times I've met up with friends and we've, had time together. And I think we just take it more seriously when we meet because we know there's not going to be a chance to do that again. So it's a nice event. So the other day I had the chance to dress up, actually put makeup on, do my hair and, wear a dress and wear heels, which I couldn't walk in for the life of me. But it was a great opportunity to go and sit down and see friends face to face. And it just felt that ever more special. So that is something that, we've realised that we took for granted when we were running around and doing our things. And now, we find it as a precious time to actually reconnect with people. The same goes with family. A lot of us have got older family members. Some people have lost their family members during this time. So the ones that you have that are still alive or the ones that are around, you take that relationship more seriously. And you want to make sure that you keep that bond with them and you speak to them. And so I'm forever going to see my parents and my in-laws as well, who are now down. So that's our kind of bubble where we flip between those two groups. And it's great. It is so nice having, family around and it's made me really appreciate the relationship that I've got with my immediate family because I can go around and socialise with my family. It's lovely to do that. Not many people get that opportunity where they're either not very close to their family in terms of proximity or just in terms of maybe they don't have that kind of relationship with their family where they can speak to them like that. But I'm having Friday night drinks or just popping over when when the occasion meets and just sitting and having a great laugh. So I'm really thankful for that. So even though, we're going through these absolutely unprecedented, strange and somewhat uncomfortable times, there are little breaks of light that make us think, God, I'm glad I have my family, or I'm glad I've got my friends, or I'm glad that I'm learning something new, I'm being creative, or I appreciate that I'm still well, or I've recovered. All of those kind of things. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be thankful for, as well as a lot to kind of contemplate on as well. But hopefully this is not going to be for much longer. I really hope it isn't. So this is my, first one back after all this time. There's so many things I do want to talk about, but I just wanted it to be like a, here I am, acknowledge obviously the kind of times that we're in and not just brush over it and just use this first return podcast. Don't call it a comeback. Just use this podcast to restamp where I am and almost start again for 2020. I know we're in August, but whatever. But what I would love to leave you with, because I always like to do a final thought, I would like to leave you with trying to work on your mental resilience during this time. There is a lot going on. There is a lot of information coming from all different sides, whether it be from family members, whether it be from what's on the TV, whether it be from your own research. There are so many conflicting ideas. There are so many different kind of mindsets from different people. Friends that you have think differently to how you thought they would think. And, that can affect you as well on both sides. What you need to create is some sort of mental resilience and focus on the things that are within your control. Things that are out of your control, there is no point. Whatever's in your control, focus on that. So whether you've created a mindset and you have a thought process that you want to stick by and you want to stand on your square, create some mental resilience about that so you're not completely swayed every time there is a different opinion, because that can affect your mental health. If you're always swaying to what someone else is thinking, it brings confusion on yourself. So stay on your square and use that mental resilience in that part. But then at the same time, don't get so disheartened if somebody that you knew or someone that you know and love has a different mindset to you. If it is strong enough to break your friendship or break your relationship, then maybe that wasn't meant to be in the first place, and now you've got to that point where you see. But if it's an opinion that you can agree to differ on or agree to disagree on, keep it at that, and then maybe don't bring it up again. Like maybe say, look, we're not going to talk about this subject anymore, or we're not going to go down that road. Let's just be friends. And use that, because I think that during this time there is a lot going on that can affect your mental health. And then you're stuck in the house as well. All of that combined is not good. So, as I said, keep that mental resilience. Focus on the things you can control. And the things you can't, accept that you can't control them and let it go. And until the next time, goodbye.